Game week 1 is finally here. Welcome to Fantasy Football G. I'm your host, Kat, and ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to preview Game week 1, take a good look at my team, as it has a very big surprise, and we're also going to speak captaincy for you guys. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right. I am absolutely buzzing. I'm not even going to lie to you. I can't wait for the first game. I'm going to be watching like this. That's me today. I don't know about you guys, but I'm buzzing. I really can't wait. Guys, thank you for tuning in. 10 likes is the aim. 10 aims is the like. 10 likes is the aim. Please, honestly, if you guys are loving the content, you know what to do. Not only do you need to like, please make sure you subscribe so you can tune in for more content like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to firstly start off by covering the best forward picks to start off your FPL season. If you want to check out the best midfield picks and the best defense, as well as the best goalkeeper rotation, you can do that right there in the corner. You can just tap there and you'll see those videos. I've put that there for you. Right. Without wasting any time, let's go through that. I'm going to start off with João Pedro. So Brighton has just recently signed a striker from Leeds United. Now, the reason why I am a bit skeptical about João Pedro, he's still a good pick, great person to start the fixtures with. He's also going to be on penalties. We know this, but it's about his longevity. Is he going to be still there in game week 2, game week 3? And we all know that, like, fine, it's a different coach, but rotation in that team is almost like Pep Guardiola, bro. So with that new signing as well, and I mean, that wasn't no cheap signing. It doesn't seem like he's just going to be someone that's going to be on the bench. So his minutes is definitely a risk. But as for game week 1, João Pedro, I believe, is going to be there. The only reason why I still have him in question is because Danny Welbeck has had a very good season, a very good preseason as well. So João Pedro having come back from injury, there might be a bit of caution there in terms of minutes. So he'll definitely play game week 1. I'm not sure whether or not he'll start in that number 10 role or not. But that's my view on João Pedro. If you really want to save, I think you can go for him. I'm just not sure if he's going to be there. They starter really week in, week out. Right, down to 6.0, Rodrigo Muniz. For tonight, yeah, guys, I think he's a good pick. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. I think, you've got Smith Rowe coming in there as well to help activate that attacking role, as well as Adama Traore has actually been playing in the preseason. So I think he's also one that's going to be starting. But I mentioned those players because I think they're going to really help and complement Rodrigo Muniz, who I don't think anymore is a minutes risk. I think Raul Jimenez will come in more in the second half, maybe if needed be, but he, I believe, will definitely start. Raul Jimenez is a factor to consider. I don't think be ignorant about it. You know, he's there, he's definitely playing. But I mean, Rodrigo Muniz has got the number 9, so it could definitely tell you that, hey, he's going to be a starter. I think if things are not going their way in a game, he could lose his minutes and Raul Jimenez could actually come in for him. So that's the only little factor for me that kind of makes me caution about going in his direction. But they got really great fixtures after game week 1. And I think if you're looking for a very long-term pick, I think he's different. I say long-term pick for basically like from game week 1 to game week 5, 6. So I think Rodrigo Muniz is definitely a great pick when it comes to the fixtures. Yeah. And that definitely, of course, brings us to Chris Wood. Chris Wood, guys, I think he's just a great pick overall. You know, Awonyi honestly hardly had any minutes in the preseason. Chris Wood was there week in, week out, and he was also performing, scoring goals as well. He started a lot of games, so he's definitely going to be a starter in the game week 1. They got some really great fixtures. Bournemouth first game at home, and I think they're going to be vulnerable and then they got Southampton, and then Wolves again at home. So they got some really great fixtures. I think he's also one for the long run. Look, I mean, again, just like I did with Muniz, if I'm playing devil's advocate, you do have to consider when you're coming back. And I think just the same way through Muniz, if things aren't going their way during a game, I think Chris Wood could be taken out. But, right now in the community, it's like, who do I go for? Muniz, then, or do I go for Chris Wood? Because it really is like, can't help me out. Look, I think game week 1, if you're starting with, you want to find someone who's good first fixture, Chris Wood is the man. Okay, Chris Wood is the man. He ended off the season very well. He's been playing preseason. I think he's the man. He's got some really great fixtures going from now and just going on. So I think Chris Wood is the man. Between the two, I would go with Chris Wood. That's my decision between the two 6.0 strikers. Right. The man of the week. Literally. All right. Dominic Solanke having moved from Bournemouth to Spurs. Now, let me get into this one. Okay. Again, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Right. This guy's had a preseason. Alas, he's good. He's good to go, guys. He's good to go. Okay. But now, Richarlison is still in the picture. He hasn't gotten a move away, and it seems like he's actually going to be staying. So, that said, he's a factor. The very same way for Chris Wood and Muniz is as well. And I don't think, in my opinion, he's going to start game week 1. I think we might see, and this is my opinion, just based off how preseason is going, I think we might see Kulusevski start there in the false 9 role and then bring in Dominic Solanke. He's had some training sessions. He's trained very well. And Pastor Carlos mentioned it in his press conference. And he is good to go for game week 1. He will have some minutes for game week 1. I'm not sure, though, that he starts. And I think even if he does start, I think he's still a minutes risk because it's getting used to how they play in the system, quite frankly. So they got a great couple of first 2 fixtures. So if Dominic Solanke was going to do anything, it would definitely be in those first 2 fixtures. Would I go for him to start off with? I wouldn't, considering he's still fresh, to the team. He still needs to see, what happens, how it works, how things work. I think even if he does start off, I doubt that he will start off flying. I doubt. He's a great player. He definitely can start off flying, but this is just my perception in terms of players gelling with teams. He has to gel in with the team and how they play with Son, with Johnson, with Pedro coming in. He needs to understand the movement of the team and the players. And if he does, from the get-go, then he's going to be a very dangerous player. So I think if you want to try and be safe or something, you can pick him because, if this guy goes off like a firecracker in game week 1, then everyone's going to be flocking to him and his price is going to hike. So, look, for me, I wouldn't start with him. If you want to be safe, you got FOMO, you can go for him. He's not a bad pick at all. This isn't a right or a wrong thing. It's just really team dependent, in all honesty. But Dominic Solanke, a good pick for the future. Right. Moving up to the 8.0, Kai Havertz. Honestly, a guy who in the second half of the season was ranked number 3 when it comes to returns. He did really well in the end of the season, and a lot of us slept on him, in all honesty. I think we were just focusing on a whole lot of other different players. But he's definitely got a great first fixture. The Arsenal fixtures are not necessarily the best to start with. I think they got out of the 5, 2 good home fixtures, 2 good fixtures. That being said, it's Arsenal. They can score against any team. And if there's anyone who's going to contribute to that, it's definitely Kai Havertz. I think it's obvious that Mikel Arteta favors him over Gabriel Jesus. We saw him start in the last preseason game over Jesus as well. Jesus has come off to a flying start. But again, we have to be aware of that and the fact that his minutes might be at risk. I think Kai Havertz would play a lot more minutes, though, than a lot of other strikers who have, another backup number 9. And I say that because sometimes Kai could start in that 8 role and then move up to the 9, and even vice versa, where we've seen this before in the previous season as well, which is why I feel like he's less of a minutes risk when it comes to playing for Arsenal. So, and it might be because they decide to take Partey and put Declan Rice in the 6th role and then move Kai Havertz down to the 8 from number 9. And sometimes vice versa, where he starts off as the 8 and then they put Partey and put Declan at 8 and then take out Jesus and put him in the 9. So, in terms of minutes, I think he's very, very secure, and he's got a high XGI. So, yeah, Kai Havertz, definitely a great pick. Now, let's get on to Isak. What do I have to say about Isak, guys? I ain't got to say nothing, man. This guy's in all of our teams. In fact, I should just speed past this one, quite frankly. But I think he's definitely a huge captaincy shout for me. And this is where I speak about captaincy for you guys for Gameweek 1. I think it's a no-brainer. I see Salah. I see the option of Salah and I see why. But I think it's too much of an unknown variable. Isak, yes, just like Salah, has had a very good preseason. He's had a preseason with the team as well. And yes, just like Salah, he's playing a new promoted side as well. But not like Salah. He has a coach who's been there and has been working with him and understands him. And so the team, in terms of the way they play, is going to be the same. So you can expect the same output from Isak coming into this season. Whereas with Salah, he's got a new coach. So things could be very uncertain. On top of that, Isak's games at home, that's glorious. Whereas Salah's game is away. And Ipswich had a very good record away. Very good record, not away, sorry, at home. So I think that match with Liverpool and Ipswich is going to be tough for Salah. Not necessarily like Arsenal tough or whatever, but I just feel like, it could just be irritating in the sense of like the team might just not want to give it, So, yeah, I feel like Isak is the better pick there. I think they can definitely steamroll and get through Southampton. Not taking Southampton lightly at all, with all due respect. I'm just talking about which one I think is going to have the better opportunity based on those little factors as well. So, yeah, that's my idea, and that's why I wanted to speak about Isak. Watkins, guys, there's a high ownership of Watkins, and he has come back, but he hasn't really partaked a lot in preseason. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to start. I'm not saying that he is going to start. But that, for me, kind of concerns me, mainly because there's been a lot of changes within the team. Yes, it's Unai Emery. It's there, he needs Watkins. He wants Watkins and stuff like that. But for me, like, first 2 fixtures I actually think are not so great. I think his fixtures are really great from game week 3, and which is when I would consider bringing him in. Right now, I would rather focus more on the better options mentioned before, and also save a bit of money as well in doing that, rather than going for a full 9.0 striker. So for me, for game week 1, Watkins is just not an option, considering those factors. And that, again, is just my opinion. But you guys can draw up your conclusions and see what's best for you and what's best for your team as well, of course. So let's get into the big reveal. The big reveal. The team reveal. All right, guys. I've given this some thought. And the big news, quite frankly, is I'm playing my bench boost. What? Cat? No, don't do it, man. Don't waste it. Now, listen up. Hear me out. Hear me out, okay? I feel like I know enough to play the bench boost. And I want to take the opportunity of having that knowledge, as well as what I believe is actually a great fixture game week for the big teams. A lot of them are playing the new promoted teams, Newcastle, Liverpool, Spurs. I mean, where do you really get that most of the times? As well as, like Man City also playing like a very shifty Chelsea side. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here in this game week. And then you also have Forest as well. Um, I rate them higher than Bournemouth, and they home as well. You have to take those type of things in consideration. And you also got Arsenal as well playing at home, which is a stronger side. So for me, the fixtures are there. It was really always just about the certainty of the players playing. But let's get into it so that I don't waste your time. First things first, the defense. Boom. Right. It was in my keeper video that I made of what are the best keeper fixture rotation, and Pope and Sells honestly made the best keeper rotation for a long game week, for a lot of game weeks. Excuse me. So I wanted to not make a transfer for my keeper, and I felt like this is the best fixture rotation. So that's where the decision's coming from. When it comes to Sells, he's been starting very much almost every preseason game. So I'm very confident he's going to be the number one guy. Very, very confident based on that information. Miguel has not started any preseason games besides from the time he signed. He played the first preseason game and he started it. Then after that, Sal started all of them. And the most important game is the last one against Olympiacos, where Sal started that game as well. So I'm very confident Sals is going to be the number one guy besides the new signing of Miguel. When it comes to the defense, honestly, it's really just me looking for clean sheets and returns. I think Pedro Porro can get a return, has the opportunity of getting a return, and possibly even a clean sheet. I mentioned it in my top 10, in my best defensive video, that look, they can be leaky. There have been a lot of mistakes there in trying to build out from the back, specifically with Vaccaro. So if they can just avoid that and probably play through and have a good game, then I think they can grab a clean sheet there. Nothing to say about Arsenal at home. Gabriel, really honestly just hoping I can grab that header or point or something from there. Trent gets Ipswich. They've really looked really great defensively, Liverpool, throughout preseason. So I think they can definitely carry that through for game week one. As I mentioned, it will be a cagey match. But that being said, I think cagey in the sense that Liverpool will have a tough time trying to score, but I think they can keep a clean sheet there, definitely. And then don't really need to cover Burn and Kwanzaa, because very much the same. But when it comes to Burn, I was thinking of Livramento. That changed because I just felt like, based off the chatter, Lewis Hall sounded like he was locked. So was Burn. But no one was really talking too much about Livramento, and I was. And for me, I wanted to try and make a pick which, even after game week one, is still going to be playing. And I guess, fine, Kwanzaa might not be that person, but I think, it's his to take away. If he doesn't perform as well as he been in the preseason, then I think Konate will definitely come in. And when that does happen, I'm happy to, remove him and take him out and bring someone else in. Just to mention, this squad has actually got 0.5 in the bank as well. So I can always upgrade him to like a Munoz if I need to through the next weeks. But he's definitely going to be there, I think, for the next 1-2 game weeks. We'll see whether or not game week 3. But definitely a cheap way to tap into there. Now moving on to my midfield. Right. Let's start off with Johnson there. Really great combination when it comes to playing on the right-hand side with Pedro Porro. But he's at short end, locked in, been playing on the right-hand side there. So that front three for Tottenham is definitely going to be a Son and Johnson on the right and the left. And then, the question mark is really down the center. So, it's Leicester, it's an attacking player. I think he can definitely grab something from there as well. Gibbs White, talisman of the team, no-brainer, playing against Bournemouth. Could be on penalties. I say could be because We're still actually unsure whether or not it's going to be between him and Wood, but regardless, I think he's definitely going to be on set pieces there, whether it's corners, maybe and free kicks as well. So I'm really happy to have him in the team. He's got a high XGI when it comes to that, as well as having players like him in those smaller teams. He's the most likely a guy to be grabbing the bonus points as opposed to everybody else in those other teams as well. So yeah, Diogo Jota, really a great supplement for not having Salah. He's a very good player if he have the minutes. If he has the minutes and stays fit as well. So I think I can try and get myself into the points that or the goals that Liverpool scores, maybe through him actually scoring or even assisting as well, playing down the centre. So he's going to definitely be involved in there. It's Ipswich. I believe that they can, of course, grab something or goal or something, and that he could be involved in it. So yeah. That's where my thinking is. Eze is the one where I'm a bit unsure because there's chatter now with Oscar Bob fracturing his leg. Some saying breaking his leg. So Man City has gone to the transfer market, and of course they've been highly linked with Eze. So I'm going to be monitoring that, and if I need to upgrade him, then I will, or even downgrade him. I just don't want to, quite frankly. But I mean, I think for game week 1 and doing a bench boost, I think I'll be safe because, yes, there's, of course, a long time in the market. But I mean, the game week starts tomorrow. I think he'll definitely play that specific game. And then, yeah, they'll do business with them during the week and stuff like that. But he himself did come back, played a couple of minutes for preseason in that last preseason game. So, yeah, definitely sure he's going to be there. Then my most favorite man, Emil Smith Rowe. I'm going to be watching that Man United game eagerly, man, hoping that he actually has a big return, the Arsenal guy. So, yeah, man, I think he's a really great 5.5 pick in terms of he's very much, I believe, going to be the talisman in that Fulham team going forward. Played 2 preseason games and scored 2 goals as well. I believe he also had an assist, I believe. So you can already tell there that he's very seamlessly gelled into the team and they're working around him as well. Could even take penalties. I say that because Andres Pereira is being linked with a move away. So I think Emil Smith Rowe is somebody that could really grow in value if things kick off really well with him in Fulham. So yeah, man. So you guys would have guessed it. I don't have Salah. That means I definitely have Haaland, and we all have Isak in our team as well. And as you already know as well, that I have Isak captain. So I think the person to just really talk about is Wood. I just feel like he's a more solid pick compared to the other picks that we spoke about earlier on. He's got some really great fixtures, as you can see there below me. I'll put the best fixtures so it's easy to see when we talk about this. But yeah, he's playing at home. He's definitely going to start as well, and that's the whole point. You look at this team, you got a lot of talismans, you got like people who are going to play starts, some involved in penalties as well. So I'm very confident to play my bench boost, and if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. And for me, it's not about just getting rid of it or anything like that. I just feel like for me with the bench boost this season, it's we know that the FA Cup is going to be scheduled very differently from different days to the EPL. So there's not going to be a lot of opportunities for double game weeks. They definitely will with the big players, the big teams, because they're the ones who tend to make it far. But we have no assurity what those fixtures are going to be in the double game week. It could be Man City having a double game week against Arsenal and Liverpool. And yeah, fine, you'll triple captain someone there and, you'll play a bench boost. But quite frankly, that's not a double game week you want. And hey, yes, it could be a double game week where it's literally an Ipswich game and against the Southampton game. But we don't know that. Right now, what I do know are these players playing game week 1 and these fixtures. and I have a basically free transfers, so I can set the team up for that. And even after that as well, this team is very good to carry through past even game week 5. If I use my transfers very well as well. So really, for me, that's really the logic behind playing my bench boost this game week. So it could work, could not work. And when I look at it as well, and I said like, hey, what if it doesn't work? Cat they're playing devil's advocate again. I've got 37 game weeks to make up, and you're like, yeah, Cat, but we're gonna play our bench boost later, bro. I got 20,000 other chips. Understand? And even so, one thing I've learned as well in the season, especially last season, I remember using my wild card and my chips before Goba and my brother Chaps, when we were still FPL banter, and they were like, ha, got my chips, how my chip. Then my brother and I triple captain Salah on a double game week where he didn't play in the first game and he came off the bench in the next game and he only got 1 point. That means he triple captain Salah on very delicious fixtures. And he only got 3 points, bro. So that just goes to show, bro, like, play your chips, guys, when you are one and utmostly sure. And sometimes, yes, you can get screwed and asked. Kwanzaa could not play, but at least for me, I know that I've made an educated decision based on the information that I've had. And that's what it's about at the end of the day with FPL. So yeah, man, guys, that is it. I hope you enjoy the game week 1. If you want to see a total overview of the best keeper fixture rotations, then check that out over here, and that will be followed by the top 10 defenders as well as the best mids. And of course, this video has covered strikers. So please have fun, enjoy FPL, don't stress too much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.